it's not about looking outward at everybody else and what's going on. It's about looking in. You have to look in to move out. And that's legitimately, you're right. That's how it is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everything's Okay, a mental health podcast brought to you by the one and only Crazy Ant Media. With this being the first episode of 2025, we will be discussing New Year, Same You, embracing progress over perfection. And as always, I'm joined by my father-in-law and co-host, Dustin. How are you doing, buddy? What is going on? Oh my goodness, the new year. It's always so exciting for us.
You're not going to believe this, but I'm freezing my ass off, and I love the cold. It's actually really cold here. I think currently 31. I don't think the highs are getting out of the high 30s today, and don't get me wrong, I'm loving it. But yeah, I woke up and man, I'm cold, and I'm never cold, y'all. Never. So I'm loving it, though. It's a great new, just burst of to get into the new year and, wake you up and go, hey, 2025, bam, which is great, I'm super excited about this one, though, because especially for anybody who's followed the podcast the past couple of years and knows everything that's been going on, health has been a serious problem for me in the past year. And physically, obviously there were physical issues with the heart and everything, but it just played a huge impact on the mental health. It really got me down. It got me depressed. It got me into a funk and just shifted my entire year for me. And so I'm really looking forward to the moving forward in 2025 and getting the, everything going in the right direction as far as the mental health goes. And this is an interesting one because you would think, but saying that, right, it would be new me. But no, I don't want it to be. I'd love a new me physically, but mentally, I just want to get back to where I was at before I had the health problems. And so I'm really looking forward to just being the same me. And we're going to talk about that, and I'm excited to dive into it. How are you doing? I know. How's the break been? You were just slam busy prior to 2025, but you got this little holiday break. So how's your mental health? Has the break been a good one? Has it been whoo, I needed that?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it's been a great time to spend with family all across the board. So that's been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be able to kind of put our lives back together in different pieces with the new things and new stuff that we got from the holiday season. So that's been a whole lot of fun. It's also been a lot of fun getting organized again.
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the most, important things for us as creatives and as a company, but us personally as well, because, you can basically start over anytime you want, but I mean, the new year is definitely the highlight. It is the most basic, the most popular time to completely restart yourself. And I mean, that's what this whole episode is going to be about. And that also brings a lot of pressure, a lot of societal pressure. I mean, you see a lot of people signing up for gym memberships. I'm sure Planet Fitness was ready for this new year because that's when they get a lot of their business, I'm sure. But a lot of these things can be unrealistic expectations for yourself. And I mean, instead of aiming for perfection, this episode, we're going to be talking about celebrating progress, no matter how small it's been over 2024. And we want to talk about maintaining self-compassion and facing new challenges in this upcoming year, because it's going to be difficult. You're going to have a lot of things that you're going to put a lot of pressure on yourself for, but you need to make sure to sustain yourself while also chasing the dream, going after your goals. I think that's what's most important. And I learned last year for making my 2024 New Year's resolutions, I learned that it's important to create New Year's resolutions that are obtainable, that you can see yourself doing while putting in effort. Don't like I'm gonna make $1 million this year. Okay, if you're not like a business owner, if you're not this, that, you're not gonna make $1 million.
Right.
So it's little things like that. You gotta make realistic expectations for yourself and goals that you feel like you can achieve throughout the year. And I am very excited about 2025 because this is going to be one of the last years that I will be in my 20s. I am
Yeah.
turning 29 this year, so that's very terrifying.
Yeah, buddy.
In 2026, I will be turning 30. So a lot of big things around the corner, and I'm super excited about all of that. But talking about this year specifically, I think, a lot of things happened that were good in 2024, and I want to continue that ball rolling in 2025,
Right.
like continuing to be my own best friend. I think that is one of the most important things, and still figuring out myself, because there's so many different things out there in the world that not everyone has tried yet, or I haven't tried yet. So it's still trying new things, being open to the possibility of change, because change can be scary, but also change can sometimes bring you to places that you could have never have imagined.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, what do you think has been the thing you've learned in 2024 that you want to continue doing in 2025?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is, and I was forced to, but slow down. It be, I really learned in 2024, added to my repertoire, slowing down. And I think, I want to continue that into 2025. For me, I have like a mantra that I have set for myself for this year, and it's quality over quantity. And that goes into the whole slowing down process. It's not about knocking out as much as you possibly can as fast as you can. It's not always about that. It's about doing the best that you can do, and making sure it's quality and not just pumping stuff out. And I feel like that's where, to touch on what you were talking about resolutions, and I mean, I think the big one everybody jumps on, like you said, is the gym, right?
Of
The
course.
problem is that everybody thinks that you can go from the couch to the gym at 1,000 miles an hour. You can't just come off the couch and run 30 miles and pump 500 pounds. It doesn't work like that. But people try that and then 2 weeks in fail and then quit because it was too much too fast, right? Slow down, set the expectations low. Say, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a half a mile today. And you know what? Be okay with that, because a half mile is more than sitting on the couch. And a half mile's fine. You don't have to do 10 miles the first day. You don't have to do. And just continuing off of that, I feel like this is true, and what I think is really important, and this is what we mean by staying the same. I think we've done a really good job since we've launched this podcast at looking at things that we are proud that we have done, things that we are proud that we've learned, things that we are proud that we overcame. I want to continue that path. So I don't want a new me this year. I like the old me. I like where that guy was going and who he was becoming. So I want to continue to build on that and continue to build on that progress, and understanding that slowing down and being okay with the small steps that I accomplish, instead of trying to put so much stress and so much anguish on myself to do more than what's needed sometimes. I feel like that's going to be key for me in 2025. I think that was what got me in big trouble in 2024. Now, to be fair, I have genetic problems that are behind the health issues. But it did not help that I wanted to go 1,000 miles a minute all the time and put stress on myself to try to get stuff done, that it would have been okay if we had just done this or just done this and just done, instead of all the stuff I was trying to do. It compounded the issues for sure. So I kind of want to slow down. That's my intention of staying the same, is continuing on that path of slowing down and putting quality over quantity. How about you? What do you want to carry over from 24 into 25?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing as well. I mean, being able to slow down and take time for my mental health and make
Yeah.
sure I stay on track and stay consistent and not do the burnout. You know, I didn't have a problem with burnout in 2024, but I did have a problem with staying organized just because I did put so much on my plate with going
Yeah.
back to school and getting married in 2024 and all of the different things. So it has been a lot this past year, but I think, you know, getting back into 2025, Emily and I have talked about it, and 2025 is our recoup year. You know, we want to make
Yeah.
sure to be as financially stable and financially responsible as possible so that we can continue going into adulthood with later down the line having children and making sure we're ready for that and just being prepared for whatever life throws at us. I think that is one of the most biggest things. And I mean, I like what you said too, because you said you know your body, you know where your
Yeah.
history comes from. So, I mean, it's interesting to think about how often we set goals for ourselves based on what we think should happen, but not who we actually are.
Yeah.
So being able to set goals about something that you see everybody else doing, but is not necessarily your case. And I think that's what's most important. Don't follow trends. Don't be one of
Yeah.
those people who do exactly what someone else's does because that's their body. That's how their genetics work. Your body's different. Your genetics are different. So you have to be able to adapt to change in every way possible. And any sort of growth is good growth
Yeah.
during your
Absolutely.
process. That's the biggest thing. And I mean, it's like we tell ourselves chasing the dream in the film industry. It's not about the finish line, it is about the process and the
The journey.
progress you
Yeah.
see throughout your time discussing and going through everything that you're going through. I think that's the biggest thing.
Well,
And I mean, like I said, being more consistent. And I want to make sure my biggest dream and resolution and, you know, goal for 2025 is actually making sure I take time to enjoy life.
yeah.
Like to actually, like if I'm in a moment, putting down my phone. Like I already talked to Emily about this like last week or something like that, and I was discussing, you know, having certain time frames throughout the day for social media or for being on my phone, but then at other times just having it, you know, away.
Yeah.
I think definitely when I'm out and about, out of the house, I want to be on my phone as least amount as possible because out of the house that's where life happens. That's where a lot of things are going on, hustling and bustling and making memories while doing school and going to work and all of these different things. So I want social media and phone time to be less important to me in 2025 because we have scheduling apps, we have interns that we bring into the company. You know, I don't need to be
No.
as focused on my phone as what I have been in the past, and that's the biggest thing for
Well,
me.
and there's a lot to touch on there. It's yeah, one, understanding who you are and not allowing the societal expectations to get on you, even though, and not only just societal expectations, but your own expectations. I think that I had the problem for the longest time of I was an athlete. I played football and baseball and basketball and I swam and I played hockey and I tennis and having to understand that now that I'm older, the body's not the same anymore. You're not going to be able to be at the level that you were when you're 25. And not just because of the genetic issues, the health issues, just because age in general, you're not going to be able to do that. And I would be frustrated with that. I wanted to be able to compete at the level that I was able to compete at 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And so learning to just understand that everything that I do is progress. So if I go out and, you know, if I do 4 miles as opposed to 10, or if I play flag football instead of tackle, or if I can, you know, swim 10 laps instead of, you know, racing someone or something. That's progress, and you should be proud of the progress, right? Don't overdo, don't put that expectation on yourself that you have to live up to something that you're not. And you brought up, you know, about to head out of the 20s and, you know, become 30 or whatever. I'm hitting a milestone too. I'm about to be officially a senior citizen. This is the year I hit 55. And at first I was like, but I'm actually excited about it because I'm the only surviving person left in my family on the male side. I'm proud that I hit 55. I'm proud that I've got the gray hair or the no hair and the balding in it. So I want to start looking at it that way. It's like, look at everything that I've been able to overcome and accomplish. Don't look at it like, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Oh my gosh, I can't do what I used to do anymore. Take pride in what you can do and what you've done and continue to move forward that way. And so, yeah, I really like your approach. And we talk about this, and you know that I do this. I go off grid every now and then, where I will just put it down and not touch it for like a week straight, and not literally the only people that can get in touch with me is people I allow, and that's only in an emergency. So it's yeah, I think going off grid, and even if you can't do it daily, is so necessary. It's definitely a part of, because like we were talking, with this whole episode's about progress, not perfection. And I think this every time you do this is putting societal pressure on you for perfection, because you're looking and all you see is perfection, because that's all that's put on there. Nobody puts the bad shit on there. Nobody puts a bad day on there. It's all about, look what greatness it was today. And that gets in your head, and you're like, well, shit, I didn't go on a trip today. I didn't accomplish writing that today. And you don't have to. Like, it's okay. If you wrote one page and someone else finished their novel, good for them and good for you. One page is great. It's learning to deal with that stuff like that. And I do think, I'm glad you brought it up, because I do think that living in the world of social media does add to the expectation of perfection, because you're striving every day. It used to be called keeping up with the Joneses, but it's basically keeping up with everybody that you see and all that they're accomplishing. And you just can't live life happily that way. You can't, because you're living a falsehood, right? So part of 2025 is understanding to continue moving forward on that path of living authentically and not trying to match what everybody else is doing, because you're not everybody else. You are your own self. And that's why we continue with the emphasis of same me. I don't want to be anybody else. I want to be me, and I want to keep making progress on my own journey. And so, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think taking time to, as they say, stop and smell the roses, right? That's what life is all about. And in 2025, I think that us personally and our company are going to do huge things. We are. We're gonna have a lot of success this year in both the personal and the professional life. But we're going to do it at a pace and take an angle of doing it in which we can actually enjoy it and actually do it. Because how many times so often do you find, personally and professionally, where you say, we're going to do this, and then you don't get it done because there's too much on the plate. And before you know it, they're all dropping off unfinished because you have too much. Where if you just say, how about just this, and maybe this, you're probably going to get all three of that done, as opposed to the 30 that you didn't get any of it done because it was too much, right? So it's really just finding that pace that in everything, personal and professional, where you go, this is what I intend to try to do, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take my time doing it, and I'm going to enjoy it, right?
Yeah, I most definitely agree. I mean, I even know that because I keep everything, at least as much as I can. So I have lists from us in previous years for the company of things that have still not been done. And it's, that is an overall list for the company. Just one day, this is a thing, because we have so many different dreams. We have so many different aspirations, and being able to accomplish so much, we are doing a great job. Like, I mean, when I talk to people, it's kind of crazy, because when I'm like, yes, I have a full-time job. Yes, I have 2 podcasts. Yes, I go to school. Yes, we're trying to do another film. Like, it's all of these different things. They're like, how do you spend time with your wife? Happens. I don't know how it happens, but it happens.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, so it's a beautiful thing to be able to put stuff on your plate that you can maintain, that you can dive into, that you also feel like you're not constrained in. I feel like that's what's most important, to be able to have that flexibility to do different things that you find enjoyable in life, because like we've said, you only get one freaking life. So you have to be able to enjoy it while you can. On the day of this recording, it is January 2nd
Yeah.
at 10:41 a.m. You
Yeah.
only get one January 2nd of 2025. So why not enjoy it, make it the most that you can? So I think that's what's most important, and to be able to overcome perfectionism, because you are living your own life. Everybody else thinks about the outside factors rather than your inside factors. I
Yeah.
don't think enough people take time, sit down, write what they feel inside, what, like, if they have a pain, they ignore it, or what do they think is going to be best for their mental health, their physical health, just getting things done on a day-to-day process. So I think if we spent more time looking inward rather than looking outward, it's going to affect us in such a
Well,
positive way. I think that's what's so important. And I mean, it's the small things too,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
like you said, the expectations from other people. I'm going to start off strong. 2025 is going to be crazy. It's going to be huge. I'm going to get so fit. I'm going to get, all of these different things. But if you say, I'm going to exercise every single day before I go to work, and then that first day, you might do it for the first week or two, but then that first day you miss, that starts becoming a downward spiral. Instead of
Exactly.
doing that, let's start off a little gradual. I am going to exercise 3 or 4 times a week, and then maybe I can work myself up. Because, like you said, your body is not in the same place that it once was. So you have to gradually get back to that place, if you ever get back to that place, or just get to a place that's more healthy than what you are currently. So to be able to start somewhere and possibly make it back is
Yeah.
better than starting somewhere and then dropping off 2 or 3 weeks later.
Well,
So I think that's what's most important.
absolutely, absolutely. Like you said, it's all about like small steps and starting small and holding yourself accountable. I also like what you said about inward, looking inward and holding yourself accountable there, because we talk about this all the time, but I wholeheartedly believe that it's true because it's been true in my life and I've seen it in your life. In order to grow, it's not about looking outward at everybody else and what's going on. It's about looking in. You have to look in to move out. And that's legitimately, you're right. That's how it is. The other thing is, I like that you said, and we both do this, we both journal regularly. It's about tracking what you've done. You know what? I saw this little thing and I think this is a great idea and I'm going to add it to my journaling process. I saw where they said, get yourself a jar at the beginning of the year. So I think I'm going to go out and buy a jar. And each day, write something that good that happened that day. Anything. Could be anything. I went out and walked today. I made a new meal today. I did that. I did. And just find one positive thing that happened that day, put it in the jar. You do that for every day, and at the end of the year, when you think, man, my life, this year sucked, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, open that jar and reread what a great year you had. Look at all of the things that happened to you or that you accomplished throughout the year. I love that idea. I think that's something really good. And if you don't want to get a jar and do all that, just put it in your journal. This good thing happened to me today. And then you can go back at the end of the year and look at it and go, damn, I did have a good year. This was a good year. I just think that's so, I love that. The other thing I want to put out there for people, because I think this is a really good idea, instead of calling them resolutions, let's refer to them as intentions, right? Shift the focus a little bit about self-discovery. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about with looking inward. I intend to add more exercise into my life this year. I intend to eat a little better this year. When you say you resolve, it's like you're locking it down in stone, and then it goes back to that problem of holding yourself to that expectation that may or may not happen, and when it fails, then you quit everything else. But if you intend to, if you exercise 30 days out of the year, you accomplish that intention. 30 days was more than you did the year before, and then boom, there you go. So let's I think the important aspect of any time we move forward and every time we're trying to do anything, it's all about how you frame it, right? And we talk about this every day also. It's like there is no, when things happen, it's not good or bad. It's how you react to it. If this happens to you, this person may react this way and they have a good day. You react this way and you have a shitty day. It's because of how you frame it. Okay, well, this happened. I'm just going to look at it this way and move on, right? So I think that positive intentions and the way that you frame things goes a long way in whether you're successful or failing at what you're trying to accomplish, right? Frame things in a way that make you feel proud of stuff that you're doing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing all the time. Life is not bad. Life is actually really good when you look at it. You know, I say this all the time and I'm just true and I want to get your take on this, but it's like every day your eyes open and you put your feet on the ground, that's a win. That's a good day. So just go with it. Like nothing else that happens throughout that day can possibly be so bad that you put so much stress on yourself because guess what? You woke up. You got another day. So take that with as much joy and happiness as you can and enjoy that shit, right? Like, come on.
I completely agree. And I mean, it goes back to we just need to overall just be better to ourselves, be
Yeah,
kinder to ourselves, be kinder to other individuals. Because, you know, if you do something small, if you put positivity out in the world, positivity will come back to you. You know, I mean,
absolutely.
we talk about a greater power, whatever that may be in your case, but karma is real and karma's a bitch and that motherfucker will come after
That
you.
energy, bro. That
Yeah,
energy.
it's real. So I feel like, you know, being a good person, good things will happen to you. Yes, still bad things will happen to you. That's not going to
No,
stop
stuff
because
happens.
this is a balance of life. You know, there is good and there is bad, and it's just that balance of making sure what you focus on more. Because even if you have a setback in 2025, even if things aren't going the way it is supposed to go, you have to remember that it is okay to pivot or to kind of
Yes.
adjust your expectations and your goals in general. Because if you achieve like a fraction of your goal, that is still part of it by the end of the year. So you
Yeah.
have to think about these things. These are all growth. Being able to be accountable without pressuring yourself so much to where you are depressed or where you feel the pressure of the world on your shoulders. And another way to continue moving forward is to have somebody doing it with you. Have
Yes.
somebody who is like-minded because you are who you hang out with. We all know
Without
that. So
doubt.
being able to have a like-minded friend who wants to get better at being more organized, wants to get better at being fit, wants to get better at doing this, doing that, to be able to keep them accountable while they keep you accountable, that will take you so far. And even if you both fall off track a little bit, you can have the conversation about, yeah, I was thinking about getting back on track too. So
Yeah.
yeah, let's get back to where we need to go. So I mean, that's the biggest thing, man. 2025 doesn't need to be your make or break year, but just have it be a good year.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's life. It's not gonna be make or break. You need to just be happy, continue moving forward, and make progress. Enjoy the journey because you only get one journey.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I love that. And you and I, we prove this every day. I feel we both kind of do better when we hold each other accountable, when we challenge each other. Sometimes it's as simple as we're on Apple Fitness and we do that weekly challenge. If it holds each other accountable to get out there and go, oh, I got to get my steps in today. And it's okay if you don't win the challenge that week. It's you got out there every day and got your exercise in. Even if you don't win the challenge, it's about holding each other accountable. I love that. I think it is so important to have a support system around you, whether it's one individual, whether it's your family, whether you're in a group of people. I think it's critically important. I love that you brought that up. And it makes me want to, I want to reference a quote that I saw because I have this visualization in my head, literally this visualization. And I love this quote. Progress is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. But it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to move you forward. So you don't need this gleaming, golden, high arched, beautiful bridge. or the Brooklyn Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Yeah, it doesn't have to look good, y'all. It can be that creepy one with some missing wood pieces that kind of shakes when you move on it. Can you get across it? When you cross it, have you moved forward? That's all that really matters. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And you know what? If you walk a mile over a pretty bridge or a mile over a shitty bridge, you still walked a mile. And that's all, right? Just look at life like that. It doesn't matter how you get there as long as you get there. And that I think that's the key takeaway from this whole episode is love yourself, be kind to yourself, and reward yourself for progress, no matter what that progress is. Forget perfection. You're never going to be perfect, but you can make progress and live the life that you want to live if you just take it slow, worry about loving yourself, put good energy out there like Logan said, because it's all, whatever you put is going to come back at you, so just focus on it. And I think, yeah, I'm so glad we did this episode because, like I said at the top of the episode, I like me. And I want to keep being me and learning more about me. Even though I'm about to be 55, I still don't know who I fully am yet. I'm still finding shit out. And isn't that the whole point, right? Like, you should continue to learn and grow until the day you die. That's the day it stops because it has to at that point. But before that, every day should be something new, should be something growing, should be moving forward. Discovery, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are. You just keep going until you can't. That's how I look at it.
Yes, I completely agree. And you kept talking about bridges, and this might be a bad joke because of 2024, but as long as it's not the Baltimore Bridge.
No, yeah.
Hopefully we can get that thing fixed.
Yeah, right? And just to add to the bad joke part of it, right? I say it's all about how you frame it. Maybe you're a person that was terrified of water and couldn't swim. If something jolts your bridge and you fall in, you're swimming. Yeah, I bet you swim to the side to save yourself. And guess what? Now you learned how to swim. Now you can swim. That's a good thing. So even when something like that happens, something good can come out of it. It's just how you frame it. Yeah, sucked today. The bridge got hit, but I learned how to swim. I mean, it's all about how you look at it, right? Literally, it's how you look at it. You can focus on the fact the bridge got hit and your car got fucked up, or you can focus on the fact that you learned to do something you've never been able to do in your life before. And that is what you should take. That's going in the jar that day. Right? I mean, that's all I can say. Just how you frame it, people. It's how you frame it.
That's right, man. That's right. Well, we do want to invite you, our listeners out there, to share your progress, focused resolutions or intentions for the year of 2025. Be sure to email us at info@crazyantmedia or at us on social media at everythingsokp on most social media. But if you're on Facebook, find us at the Crazy Ant Media page, and you can do that as well.
Yep.
And then, of course, we want you to also reflect on one thing that you're proud of from 2024. Be sure to tell us that as well. I mean, like I said, at info@crazyantmedia, or you can find us on social media. We love the fan interaction.
Absolutely.
We love the thoughts, and we love the encouraging time. Yeah, this was a great episode to come back to with Everything's Okay. This episode 40, man. We made it 40. To episode 40 with our new freaking podcast. And it's
season
a freaking great
3.
thing.
That's the 40's, the kickoff, the first episode of season 3. I can't believe we've been doing it for 3 years already. Kicking off the 3rd year. That's just incredible. And quickly, just on that note too, just real quick, guys, if you didn't see our post about our rap numbers for the year, you know how Spotify and Apple and all these, they put out the rap. Guys, you were amazing. The growth that we saw on everything that we're doing with the company was just incredible, guys. It was something we didn't even realize was happening. And you guys, I mean, it was just incredible. And we truly, literally could not do this without you. It's all of your support and everything that you do for us that allows us to see what we see and do what we do. And just, man, woo! It's been, I love it, bro. I love it.
Yes, exactly. Of course, thank you everyone for listening today. We appreciate all your love and support. This podcast is dedicated to anyone who has ever been in an uphill battle with mental health. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but it is important to always keep getting back up. We're here for you. Like we said, if you have any thoughts, comments, concerns, please be sure to reach out to us via our email at info@crazyantmedia.com. And then, of course, follow us on Instagram, X, Threads at Everything's OKP. And then, of course, subscribe to the Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube. We really appreciate that. And then I really want to end this episode with a call to action. As we step into 2025, let's focus on being kind to ourselves, celebrating our wins, big or small, and knowing that we are all ready to be enough. And remember that everything is okay.